Welcome, dear viewers. A heartfelt welcome to all of you on the World History Flow channel. Here, we present the true events of history that have been swept away by the flow of time. Unknown stories, lost civilizations, and moments that changed the world in simple language and in the rhythm of stories. If you love history and want to know the secrets of the past, then this channel is for you. Let's start today's history story. The year is 1606. Whispers of a new world, a land teeming with untold riches and virgin forests, echo through the bustling taverns and grand halls of England. The Virginia Company of London, a joint stock company granted a charter by King James I, ignites these dreams with promises of gold, adventure, and the glory of expanding the British Empire. For many, England has become a land of limited opportunity, where social standing dictates destiny and poverty gnaws at the fringes of society. The lure of escaping this rigid hierarchy, of forging a new life where one's efforts could truly bear fruit, was a powerful motivator. Farmers, artisans, gentlemen, and even a few soldiers, their pockets light but their spirits eager, sign on for the perilous journey across the vast Atlantic. They envision a paradise, a land ripe for the taking, where hard work would undoubtedly lead to prosperity. They pack what little they own, their hearts a mixture of trepidation and soaring optimism. The ships, the Susan Constant, the Godspeed, and the Discovery are prepared, their sails awaiting the wind that would carry these hopeful souls towards an unknown future. The air crackles with anticipation, a collective breath held as they prepare to cast off from the familiar shores of home, leaving behind everything they knew for the perilous embrace of the ocean and the tantalizing promise of a new beginning. They are pioneers, unknowingly stepping into a pivotal chapter of history, their courage and ambition fueling the very first spark of English colonization in North America. The journey itself would be a test, a brutal prelude to the challenges that awaited them. But for now, the dream of Jamestown burned brightly. The voyage across the Atlantic was a brutal ordeal, a stark awakening to the unforgiving realities of their ambition. Cramped conditions, meager rations, and the constant pitching and rolling of the ships took a heavy toll. Sickness spread rapidly through the close quarters, a grim harbinger of the struggles to come. Fresh water quickly grew scarce, forcing the weary travelers to ration every drop, their thirst a constant companion. Storms, violent and relentless, lashed at the small fleet, threatening to tear them apart and swallow them whole into the churning abyss. Fear, a cold and unwelcome guest, crept into the hearts of even the most resolute among them. Many questioned their decision, their initial optimism giving way to moments of despair. Yet they pressed on, driven by the sheer will to survive and the flickering hope of reaching their destination. After more than 4 long months at sea, on April 26, 1607, a cry echoed through the ships, "Land!" Relief washed over the weary travelers, a wave of euphoria momentarily eclipsing the memory of their suffering. However, the sight that greeted them was not the verdant paradise they had imagined. The low-lying, marshy peninsula they selected for their settlement, later named Jamestown, was far from ideal. Swamps teemed with mosquitoes, the air was thick with humidity, and the brackish water of the James River offered little comfort. The land felt unwelcoming, a desolate landscape that whispered of hardship rather than prosperity. They set about the arduous task of unloading their meager supplies, their bodies aching, their spirits dampened by the reality of their new home. This uninviting shore, though a welcome sight after months at sea, was merely the beginning of their trials, a desolate stage set for the unfolding drama of Jamestown.
Upon landing, the first and most immediate priority was defense. The unknown wilderness stretched before them, a vast and enigmatic expanse teeming with unseen dangers. Fear of hostile natives, wild animals, and the sheer isolation of their position spurred them into action. Under the hot May sun, the weary colonists began the arduous task of constructing a fort. Trees were felled with dull axes, their heavy trunks dragged through the soft earth. Palisades, sharp and imposing, slowly rose from the ground, forming a triangular enclosure designed to offer some measure of security. It was back-breaking work, a constant struggle against the elements and their own dwindling strength. The gentlemen, unaccustomed to such manual labor, quickly found their delicate hands blistered and their fine clothes soiled. The common laborers, though more experienced, were equally exhausted. Malaria, carried by the ubiquitous mosquitoes, began to take its toll, weakening already frail bodies. Dysentery, contracted from the brackish river water, added to their misery. Yet they pressed on, driven by the collective understanding that their survival depended on the strength of their defenses. Inside the hastily erected walls, crude shelters were built, offering little respite from the elements. The sound of hammering and the shouts of men echoed through the dense woods, a testament to their desperate struggle against the wilderness. As the fort took shape, they were also keenly aware of the watchful eyes of the native inhabitants. They knew they were intruders on ancient lands, and the balance of power, though not yet fully understood, was a constant underlying tension. The forest, once a symbol of opportunity, now felt like a shroud, concealing both sustenance and peril. Every rustle in the undergrowth, every unseen shadow, heightened their sense of vulnerability. This fort, their first tangible mark on the new land, was a fragile symbol of their ambition, a desperate outpost in a vast and challenging world.
The initial optimism quickly evaporated as the harsh realities of their new environment descended upon them. The summer brought sweltering heat and a plague of mosquitoes, carrying disease that swiftly decimated their ranks. Their ignorance of local agriculture proved catastrophic. They had arrived too late to plant sufficient crops, and many were too ill or unwilling to undertake the strenuous work of farming. The river water, brackish and contaminated, caused widespread dysentery, further weakening their already compromised immune systems. Their provisions, brought from England, dwindled rapidly, and the promise of endless bounty in the New World turned into a cruel illusion. The winter of 1609-1610 became known as the Starving Time, a period of unimaginable suffering and desperation. The colonists were reduced to eating anything they could find: roots, berries, snakes, and even, in the most horrific accounts, shoe leather and the corpses of their fallen comrades. Their numbers dwindled from several hundred to a mere 60 emaciated survivors. Hope, once a beacon, flickered and threatened to extinguish entirely. The proud dream of a thriving colony had devolved into a grim struggle for mere existence. The wilderness which they had hoped to conquer was instead conquering them. The fort, once a symbol of security, became a prison of despair. It was a brutal lesson in humility, a stark reminder of humanity's fragility when pitted against the raw power of nature and the consequences of inadequate preparation. The suffering was profound, etching itself onto the very soul of the fledgling colony, leaving an indelible scar on those who survived and a cautionary tale for generations to come.
Amidst the chaos and despair, one figure emerged as a driving force: Captain John Smith. A seasoned soldier and explorer, Smith possessed a pragmatic leadership style and an unyielding will to survive. He recognized the critical need for food and established crucial, albeit often tense, relations with the powerful Powhatan Confederacy, a formidable alliance of Algonquian-speaking Native American tribes led by their astute paramount chief, Wahun Senekawa, known to the English as Chief Powhatan. Smith's initial forays into the surrounding territories were met with suspicion and hostility. He was captured by Powhatan's brother, Opechancanough, and famously brought before Chief Powhatan. While the exact details remain a subject of historical debate, the narrative of Smith's rescue by Pocahontas, Powhatan's young daughter, has become an enduring legend, symbolizing a fleeting period of uneasy truce and cultural exchange. Through a mixture of diplomacy, trade, and sometimes forceful demands, Smith managed to acquire vital supplies of corn from the Powhatan people, temporarily staving off complete starvation for the struggling colonists. He enforced a strict no-work, no-eat policy, attempting to instill discipline and a sense of purpose among the often idle gentlemen. Smith's leadership was autocratic but effective, challenging the ingrained class distinctions that had hampered the colony's initial efforts. He taught them basic survival skills:
how to cultivate native crops, and how to navigate the intricate political landscape of the indigenous tribes. The Powhatan Confederacy, a highly organized and powerful entity, viewed the English settlers with a complex mix of curiosity, suspicion, and a growing sense of threat. They possessed a deep understanding of the land and its resources, skills the English desperately lacked. The relationship was always on a knife edge, a delicate balance between necessity and animosity, with both sides wary of the other's intentions. Smith's departure in 1609 due to an injury plunged the colony back into disarray, highlighting the fragility of their gains and the irreplaceable role he had played in their tenuous survival. Just as the last flicker of hope seemed to be dying, and the emaciated survivors of the starving time were preparing to abandon Jamestown entirely, a new wave of salvation arrived. In June 1610, Lord Delaware, appointed as the new governor, sailed into the Chesapeake Bay with fresh supplies, new settlers, and a firm resolve to establish order and ensure the colony's survival. His arrival was nothing short of miraculous, saving Jamestown from imminent collapse. Delaware was accompanied by more than 150 men and a year's worth of provisions, injecting a much-needed lifeline into the dying settlement. He immediately implemented a harsh but necessary set of laws known as Dale's Laws, which enforced strict discipline, mandatory church attendance, and severe penalties for idleness or insubordination. He understood that without order and hard work, the colony was doomed. Under his firm hand, the colonists began to rebuild, literally and figuratively. They repaired the decaying fort, cultivated fields, and enforced a more structured routine. Delaware also adopted a more aggressive stance towards the Powhatan Confederacy, initiating a series of retaliatory raids in response to previous skirmishes and their refusal to trade. This marked a turning point, moving from tentative coexistence to open conflict, a strategy born out of the desperate need for resources and a desire to assert English dominance. The influx of supplies brought temporary relief from starvation, and the renewed sense of purpose, though imposed with an iron fist, began to transform the dispirited survivors into a more cohesive, albeit still struggling, community. Lord Delaware's arrival was not just about supplies, it was about the restoration of hope and the re-establishment of a vision for a permanent English presence in the New World. It signaled a renewed commitment from the Virginia Company and the Crown, proving that despite immense hardships, the dream of Jamestown was not yet dead. The turning point for Jamestown, the discovery that would ultimately ensure its survival and prosperity, came with the cultivation of tobacco. John Rolfe, a colonist who arrived in 1610, experimented with different strains of tobacco, eventually crossbreeding native varieties with sweeter, milder strains from the West Indies. The resulting tobacco proved to be highly desirable in England, where smoking had become increasingly fashionable. The first shipment of Rolfe's tobacco arrived in England in 1614, and its popularity immediately soared. This brown gold transformed the economic landscape of the struggling colony overnight. Land that had once been considered worthless suddenly became incredibly valuable for tobacco cultivation. The colonists, now with a clear path to profit, eagerly began planting vast fields of the leafy crop. Tobacco required intensive labor, however, leading to a desperate need for more hands. This demand fueled the burgeoning transatlantic slave trade, as indentured servants and enslaved Africans were brought to Jamestown to work the burgeoning plantations. The pursuit of tobacco wealth reshaped the colony's social structure, creating a new class of wealthy planters. It also dramatically altered the relationship with the Powhatan. While the demand for land for tobacco cultivation led to increased encroachment on native territories, the economic boom also brought periods of relative peace, as the English became less reliant on the Powhatan for food and focused on their profitable crop. The success of tobacco attracted more settlers, providing a continuous stream of labor and resources. Jamestown, once a desolate outpost teetering on the brink of failure, finally found its economic footing. The pungent aroma of curing tobacco filled the air, a scent that symbolized not only prosperity, but also the complex and often brutal foundations upon which America's first permanent English colony was built. The marriage of Pocahontas, daughter of Chief Powhatan, to John Rolfe in 1614 marked a brief but significant period of peace between the colonists and the Powhatan Confederacy. This union, often romanticized, was primarily a strategic alliance, brokered by the English as a means to solidify their position and by Powhatan to gain an advantage and understanding of the encroaching Europeans. Pocahontas, who had been captured by the English in 1613, embraced Christianity, was baptized as Rebecca, and traveled to England with Rolfe, where she was presented as a civilized Indian princess, a symbol of the potential for conversion and coexistence. Her presence in England garnered significant attention and helped to secure further investment and support for the struggling colony. Back in Virginia, the marriage brought an end to the First Anglo-Powhatan War, ushering in 8 years of relative tranquility, often referred to as the Peace of Pocahontas. During this time, trade flourished, and there was a decrease in the violent skirmishes that had plagued the early years. The English, no longer facing constant raids, were able to expand their settlements and focus on their increasingly profitable tobacco plantations. This period allowed Jamestown to solidify its economic and social structures, attracting more settlers and establishing a more permanent footprint. While the peace was a welcome respite, it was always a fragile one, built on individual relationships and mutual, yet often conflicting, interests. The underlying tensions regarding land, resources, and cultural differences persisted, simmering beneath the surface of the temporary truce. Pocahontas' death in England in 1617 and Chief Powhatan's passing a year later began to unravel this delicate peace, paving the way for renewed conflict and the eventual breakdown of any hope for long-term peaceful coexistence between the English and the indigenous peoples. Her story, a blend of historical fact and enduring legend, remains a powerful symbol of the complex interactions and tragic consequences of early colonial encounters.
The relative peace shattered in 1622 with the devastating Powhatan uprising, orchestrated by Chief Pocahontas. Hundreds of colonists were killed in a coordinated attack, a brutal testament to the simmering resentment and the irreversible impact of English expansion. The uprising, though a severe setback, ultimately led to a more aggressive and systematic subjugation of the Powhatan Confederacy. By 1624, Jamestown was no longer under the control of the Virginia Company. It became a royal colony, directly administered by the English crown. This shift marked a new phase in English colonization, with greater direct involvement from the government. Jamestown's legacy is undeniably complex and multifaceted. It was a crucible of immense suffering, where disease, starvation, and conflict claimed countless lives. Yet it also laid the foundational stones for what would become the United States. It pioneered the concept of a representative assembly in the New World, with the establishment of the House of Burgesses in 1619, a crucial step toward democratic governance. It was also the landing place for the first documented Africans brought to English North America in 1619, marking the grim beginning of chattel slavery, an institution that would profoundly shape the nation's history and leave an enduring scar. Jamestown stands as a testament to human resilience, ambition, and the extraordinary hardships faced by those who dared to venture into the unknown. It represents the clash of cultures, the devastating consequences of colonialism for indigenous populations, and the enduring struggle to carve out a new existence in a challenging land. Its story is not one of unblemished triumph, but a raw, unfiltered account of a complex and often brutal beginning, a powerful reminder of the profound forces that shaped the destiny of a continent and forged the earliest identity of a nation. The echoes of Jamestown, of its struggles and its triumphs, its injustices and its innovations, continue to resonate through American history, a vivid and enduring chapter in the story of a nation's birth.
Thank you all so much for watching today's video. If you like this history story, then be sure to like it, share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe to the World History Flow channel for more such history stories. You can share your opinions and questions in the comments. Your comments are the inspiration for our next story. See you again with another chapter of history. Until then, stay well, stay healthy. Thank you.